Hello, this is our final video in this set, making this piano scale generator. And in our last video what we did was we just wrote the code so that an orange mark appears on every key, and then I hit submit and they go away. Because what's going to happen is when I select a scale, major or minor, and select a key, and I press submit, what's going to have to happen is it's going to clear away any marks, and I'm only going to put the orange marks on the keys that I need to light up. So how do we do this? Well, this is a great example of we're going to look at how to use a loop. And loops are such essential structures. It's really important you get comfortable using loops. And there's a lot of ways to get around using loops, and I think a lot of young programmers are finding those ways, which is awesome, but I can't stress this enough. You should really understand how to write a loop. So the first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take all my code from stage 4. I'm going to make a new file. I'm going to paste stage 4 in there, and I'm going to save this as piano scale stage 5.html. And I totally spelled it wrong, so let me fix this. Rename piano scale. There we go. Okay, so we're going to save this. I'm going to close this one up, and let's just open up stage 5 here. Piano scale product, stage 5. There it is. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I don't want any of these orange marks on here. So I'm going to go to the code that I wrote. I'm going to come out where I actually drew the orange marks, which was right here. Right? So this is right in our JavaScript, so this automatically runs when we start the program. And I'm going to comment this out with a /*, and then I'm going to come to the bottom, and I'm going to put a //. That's how we do a large bulk comment in JavaScript. And here's a little trick of the trade. Put a // in front of your //, because what that means is that if you decide to bring this back in and you remove that, this becomes a comment and is ignored. If you have that // there, so I have /* comment // close, if I delete this, this now becomes an error in here because it doesn't have a parent one. So by putting a // in front of it, it becomes a comment. This was a trick a student showed me years ago. I really appreciated that. And now that I've saved this and I kind of load this up, which is right here, there we go. There's no marks on there. Okay, so how are we going to do this? If I pull out the console here and we look and I pick like the key of, let's pick the key of C because I hit submit, I can see the keys that I need to light up. So this is where you would have to talk to someone with a little bit of knowledge around music and understand it. You might need to consult with your client or learn the keys yourself. So I'm going to quickly show you how to read the keys on a piano. The white keys are always just the notes as they stand. So if I know that this is called middle C, it goes C, D, E, F, G, and then A, B, C. Remember, there's nothing past a G. When you hit G, well, there is something, it goes back to A. And these black keys are sharps or flats. I refer to them as sharps in our videos, but technically sharps and flats, same thing. So here, this is C, this white key, this is C sharp. D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C. And remember, there's no B sharp and there's no E sharp. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, essentially, this is the logic. We're going to come down here, and step 1 is I'm going to, well, step 1 was actually up here. Step 1, clear all existing marks. And we did this by calling this clear mark function we wrote in our last video. So step 1, we're going to loop through the result list. And this is a really important skill. Or let's call this step 2 now. This is what I call a bread and butter algorithm. The ability to loop through a list or an array is fundamental. So remembering that if we have some theory here, that if we have a list like, I don't know, let's call it L, and it has, numbers 1, 2, let's go, I don't know, just a bunch of numbers. I want you to be able to say to me that the length of this is 4 and the indexes are 0 to 3. This is a fundamental skill. The length is the number of elements and the indexes are 0 to 3. So what I can do is if I can write a loop to go 0, 1, 2, 3, I can look at each of those. And what goes along really nicely with any list or array is a for loop. So I'm going to say for, and this is where I'm going to start my counter. So I is equal to 0. And then I is going to be less than result dot length. I could write in here the number or the length myself, but you always want the computer to calculate the length for you. And then I'm going to say I is equal to I plus 1. So how we read this, I always think of this as what's called count, check, change. So when we first reach this loop, I gets sent to 0, and then we do a check, and we say, is 0 less than the length? And if that's true, we run the loop. And then we run through the loop, and when we get to the bottom, what we do is we apply change, we do the check. If true, run loop again. And that's what the way a loop works. So we come down here, we basically set our count to 0, we check if that's true, and if it's true, we enter the loop and run the code. When we get to the bottom, we apply the change, which is increased by 1, and if that's true, we come back up and run the loop again. So we could do this, console.log, watch what happens here. I can log results at I, because I is going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, and I is going to take every index value in that list. So if I save this and reload this, what I'm going to do is doesn't matter, A major, I hit submit. So there's my list, and notice I've printed out each letter now, each letter in that list. Perfect. So now this is quite a bit of code, and once you get it, it's clear. So this is going to be a bit of a cut and paste job. But what I want to do is essentially I want to check each of those letters as I go through. So I'm going to say if result at I is equivalent to an A. So basically what this is saying is you've captured the first note, and is it an A? And if it's an A, I'm going to have to put the mark on the A keys. So let's come up here, let's take a look. So these are the orange marks, and now I have to kind of figure out which orange marks are what. So let's take a second and let's comment this back in, so it's there. Oh, sorry, notice that. And let's save this, and I'm just going to give this a run for a second. Oh, I want this one. Let's give this a run. There you go, they're all there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to comment everything else except for that first one. So now there should just be one orange mark when I reload this. Oh, and there isn't one. Oh, because I have to do the fill here at the end. So let's take the fill and we'll put it down below. There we go. Okay, because notice I started the drawing, but I didn't do the fill at the bottom here. So if we save this, reload it, there it is. So that's a C. So we know if I come in here, I can say that this is a C. And I can now just follow the pattern and name them. So I'm going to pause the video and do that. So let me just take out this. There we go. So this is a C. And remember, it's just the white keys are just in sequence. So actually, I'm not going to pause it. I'm just going to do it C, D, E, F, G, A. Because remember, after we get G, go back to A, B, C. I actually got to pause it and just do the rest. So now I know what each of these keys are tied to. Now that I think about this, I should have done it in the last video. That's okay. So what happened down here? Inside when I'm applying it, I'm running through the loop, and if I find an A in that list, I want to put the mark on the A keys. So let's find them. So let's just take all of these for now, and let's just bring them down here for a second. So there's an A key, so we're going to delete all of those, and we're going to delete all of these, and we're going to delete those. And we're going to tab this in, we're going to tab this in. And now, if I find an A in my list, I'm going to light up the A keys. But what I haven't done, before I do this, if I want to draw, I have to again come up here and I have to do a ctx.beginPath to start the drawing before the loop. And then when I'm done the loop, which is down here, I'm going to do a ctx.fill. sorry, I'm kind of jumping around here, ctx dot, we want to set, sorry about that, fill style equals, oops, orange. So let me save this and let's see what happens now. So if I come in here and I reload this, when I hit submit, they go away. The key of A major has a bunch of notes in it, but notice that's an A and that's an A, and I can follow that by C, B, A. So I've lit up the appropriate keys. And that's the logic behind this. What you have to do is you have to write an if statement for each of the keys, and only if the key is actually pressed, or if you find the note, do you light up those keys. So this is going to be a long if statement, and we can find it right here. If we go into the master and we come down here, here's my loop, and this is going to loop through every element in the list. And again, when I was doing this, I thought they were blue, but they're actually orange. So I'm going to highlight all of these and copy them and come back into my code. And I don't want to print it out. I'm just going to paste all of this in here. So notice, as I loop through, if I find an A, I lit up the A ones. If I find an A sharp, I lit up the A sharp ones. And so I've taken all of those orange marks and mapped them. And this is such an important skill. Forget about the piano generation. The ability to loop through a list and then grab each element in sequence is fundamental. And so I strongly recommend you practice this skill, and one of the best places to do it is doing coding bat skill problems and trying coding bat strings to and lists or arrays to. And so if we save this now, and we come in here, and we reload this, I submit, there's my key of A major. I know A minor is just the white keys. There it is. I know that C minor is just the white keys, or C major is just the white keys. Beautiful. I know that G major has one sharp. So I might go to see my client now who has experience in this or something and say, test it, is it right? And that's right, this is G major. G major has one sharp in it. Beautiful. But there's one last problem you'll notice that we didn't fix. If I reload the page, all of these keys are lit up. So I have to come back into here, and I have to come back to my very start of my JavaScript, which is right here where I figured all that out and comment it out again. Use that //*/ technique. And now when I load the page, I got a nice blank page, and I'm going to select the key like B major, submit, which is a really ugly scale because look at all those sharps, and we're good. Now, obviously, there are so many things that could make this better. So, for example, when I load the page, it's on A major. Why isn't A major showing? You know, could I make the image look better? Do I want other scales? Lots of different things could be done to make this better, and I encourage you to take some time and play around and try and do that yourself. As always, if you ever have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, and have a wonderful day.